In this class, we keep our discussion on the impact of advances in technology, and our focus will be on three areas: software applications, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. I would like to share with you how these topics are relevant to professional accounting. So let's start the discussion on software applications. For software applications, they are computer programs that are designed to help users with certain tasks. I think all of you should be familiarized with some of the software applications that we will go through. And the awareness of software applications is important for every accountant. So it is no doubt that in the modern world, every accountant should be familiarized with those software applications in the daily task or operations. So there are three specific software applications that accountants should be aware of. And for these three software applications, they will be seen in the examination. So you should be familiarized the nature of them, the advantage and disadvantage of each of them. First, spreadsheets. Second, database or databases. And third, the accountancy packages. So let's start to discuss about the spreadsheets. First, spreadsheets are designed to analyze data and sort lists of items. So it's a tool to help the professional accountants to analyze data and sort any items in the list. Also, a spreadsheet should be used for crunching numbers. So you can drill down into the spreadsheet because you can drill down the numbers and see what behind the numbers, and storage of lists of items. Also, spreadsheets include graphing functions that allow quick reporting and analysis of data. So here are the functions of spreadsheets. And the advantages of spreadsheet is it is quite easy to use. So for a lot of accountants or even not accountants, they can use any spreadsheet for their work, like to work with numbers. Spreadsheet is very useful for numbers, and just require very little training to get started. So everyone can start by using the spreadsheet without any official training. Is acceptable. But if you would like to improve your skills and efficiency in the spreadsheets, then you need to have some training on it. And like accountants, for data manager, they should be familiarized with them. And the ability to collaborate using co-authored spreadsheets and see each other's changes in a matter of seconds. In other words, for spreadsheets, it can provide you a function that can collaborate with other user or authorized user on a spreadsheet to see each other's changes in a matter of seconds. But spreadsheets is the primary tool for accountants to work with numbers. So for the disadvantages, we can see that the data must be recopied over and over again to maintain it in a separate data files. In other words, for spreadsheets, it's possible to link up different spreadsheets, but in practice, many of the accountants or data manager would like to copy the spreadsheet file and send to them to another guy or for other work. Then the data must be recopied over and over again, and it can cause some corruption of data. So here, the second disadvantage is they may be unable to efficiently identify data errors. Just I mentioned, if you copy one data file to another data file and work on the new data file that you just copied, if there's any data corrupted, it's not easy to identify the data errors. Even you identify the data errors, it's quite hard for you to trace how to fix it. And for spreadsheet, there lack of detailed sorting and querying abilities. In other words, spreadsheets is good for manage some simple data sets, but not manage a complicated or complex data set, because you cannot sort it easily, or you cannot send a query and ask them to solve your question or problems. And for sharing, some of the spreadsheets is not able to be shared among users because there can be sharing violations among users, and wishing to view or change data at the same time is impossible. Or even you can make it, say for example, if you put a spreadsheet in a share drive or share folder, 2 or more personnel or people can open the file to change it, but you cannot change it in the same time for 2 persons or more. Or some data corruption will be happen as well. So for spreadsheet, the advantages is it's quite easy to use, little training, and sometimes it's possible for more than one authorized persons to open the file and can change it, but you can see who changed it as well. But the disadvantage is it's too simple, and you can only work into a standalone file or a spreadsheet. It's quite hard for you to link up different spreadsheet all together, or even with more participants or in a group for it. So for spreadsheet, it's quite simple to use, but the limitation is also simple. So next is about databases. Databases is more advanced than just the spreadsheet. It helps to solve the problems or disadvantages that I just mentioned. For the functions of databases, it stores large amounts of raw data. It is best to use a database. So when you have a large amounts of raw data, the single data file or single spreadsheet cannot help. It's good for you to use database to store large amounts of raw data. And this is especially true in circumstances where 2 or more users sharing the information. So for example, if the disadvantage of spreadsheet is one single spreadsheet file can only be managed or edited by one person, but if you have 2 more users, then database can help to solve this problem. The advantages of spreadsheet: first, it's easy to use or easy to report. And it is also the most important benefit for spreadsheet by using a database. For database, by using a database is the ease of reporting and sharing data. And databases require little or no duplication of data between information tables, because they have some rules in the databases, and they can ensure no duplication of data in the databases. They set a lot of angles or elements or dimensions, or what we call dimensions, in the databases. So different dimensions, and this assuming there can be contribute an environment to have no duplication of data, and changes made to the data do not corrupt the programming. As I said in the spreadsheet, it's quite easy for a data file, the data in the data file, to be corrupted because of programming issue. But for database, it helps to solve this problem. And another advantage of database is security. Good security to restrict users from accessing privileged information. So databases often or they usually offer good security to restrict users from accessing it. For disadvantages, it's not the same as a spreadsheet, and database requires user to learn a new system. So for some of the users, they don't like to learn new things, and it's quite hard to implement or to have a database for the organization with this sentiment or atmosphere. And investment in training and software required. So for databases, it is an expensive, a more expensive investment as compared to the spreadsheet. And initial time and cost of migrating all the data into a new database system is needed. In other words, for a spreadsheet, you just open the spreadsheet file and you can work on it immediately. But for databases, it takes time to migrate all the data to a new database system and to have the UAT. What we call UAT is the user acceptance test, whether the user can accept the setting of databases, whether they are fine of it. They need to check any errors from the database initially to make sure there's no errors, because afterwards the database just runs based on the program set before, and if at the beginning the time invested to make sure the database is correctly set up, if we don't invest the time to do it, then the database is no use in the future. So here is or are the disadvantages of databases. The last item is accountancy packages. For accountants, they need to work with spreadsheet database, and many of them, they need to work with accountancy packages. You cannot say, for example, you cannot just use the spreadsheets for your financial reporting or to do your bookkeeping work. You need to work with the accountancy packages, especially in the modern days. So first, for what are the functions of the accountancy packages? Record and process individual transactions within the business. So here is the first function. And many businesses choose to utilize specialized software packages. So here, the purpose is to record and process individual transactions. And the accountancy packages can automatically produce year-end accounts and management reports. In other words, if you use the spreadsheets to do it, then you should have a very skilled accountant to help you. First, to make the data input. Second, how to convert data input into the month-end reports or management reports. But through the accountancy packages, it helps, or the purpose of the accountancy package is designed to automatically produce year-end accounts or month-end accounts. So for the advantages of accountancy package is the rapid recording of transactions as compared to manual system, because the spreadsheet is generally thought as a manual system. But for accountancy package, because a lot of transactions, you just input and the reports are automatically generated. So it helps to improve the efficiency and lower likelihood of mistakes. Some of the good accountancy packages, they have the verification check to make sure the debit, credit, and account, the nature of account should be a debit account or a credit account. They can advise or they can alert the user who inputs into the system to make sure they input the numbers correctly. And rapid production of reports and financial statements. So here, it's quite easy for you to generate a profit and loss account or the statement of financial positions in an accountancy packages instead of from a manual system like the spreadsheet. And for disadvantages, for accountancy packages, it usually requires training before use, because it's tailor-made for the accountant to work on the numbers. So it's not some of the specific functions are built in the accountancy packages. So some training are required, and packages can be expensive to purchase and install. And also, It may be unnecessary for a small business with no numbers of transactions. If the business is very small and the monthly transactions may be only limited to only 20 transactions, then it is not worthwhile for the company to invest in the accountancy packages. So now let's move on to the next topic, which is the cloud computing. An accountant should be aware of cloud computing because it also helps their work and to improve their efficiency. For cloud computing, so what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is computing based on the internet. And it's not the same as you just browse through the internet or surf in the internet using your browser, because you just look at the information. But for cloud computing, it's the software applications in the internet or in the internet-based software applications. It avoids the need for software application servers and services stored on physical computers. So why do we need to have the cloud computing instead of just the applications and software installed on your own computer on servers? Because it helps to limit the risk of physical damage. If your computers or physical computers are damaged, then it means all the applications and data in your computer will be lost. But with cloud computing, it helps to minimize the risk. So for cloud computing, it stores the software and applications with cloud service providers. And who store these things on the internet and grant access to authorized users. So for those who just paid for it and they are granted the access as an authorized user, they can log in into their computer and access the cloud-based software. And for accountant, we just mentioned about the accountancy packages. So accountancy packages or accounting software can work with cloud computing environments. That means the software is hosted on remote servers. And as the information being stored in such a way that it is always accessible, and users can log in and perform accounting practices on any computer on the planet with an internet connection. So why is relevant to the accountant for cloud computing? Because many of the accountancy packages right now are cloud-based. What we mentioned is cloud-based. So you can access to the accountancy packages no matter you are at home or you are at office or you are in the office or you are in your vacation. When you have your computer with you, then you can do the job. So here is the power of cloud computing with that the accountancy packages are built in the cloud, and you can access it anywhere in the planet. So using cloud computing accounting software means that the business does not have to pay for, install, manage, or protect software on individual machines. In other words, for any accountant, they can work in the office, at home, vacation, even in a cafe, in a restaurant, anywhere. Because they can work with the numbers, they can work with the electronic documents. And there's no more important for a physical location for the accountants to work it. So the benefits of cloud computing to the organization, there are many benefits. Here right now, we have 10 benefits of cloud computing to the organization. First, store and share the data. For cloud services, it can often store more data than traditional local physical drives, and the data can be shared more easily, regardless of physical location. There's unlimited storage of data. If you can pay for it, then you can have unlimited storage or very large amount of data sets. And another benefit for cloud computing is on-demand self-service. It means that users can gain access to technology on demand. For example, every time you download an app, in your mobile phones. You are downloading it from a cloud service where it is stored. So it's just on demand. For cloud computing, it also provides the flexibility, like what I share with you, the example of an accountant work. The work can be done more flexible, as employees no longer need to be plugged into the work networks or facilities to access the data they need, like the accountant. Right now, they don't need to stay in the office because of the accounting software or accountancy packages is on the cloud computing, not in the server, stayed in the office. Another benefit of cloud computing is collaboration. The cloud facilities better workforce collaboration. Like you put documents, plans, etc. in a shared folder, and it can be worked on by many different users simultaneously. The fifth benefit of cloud computing is more competitive. Smaller firms right now can get access to technology and services that without significant financial investment. So in the past, small companies cannot compete with large companies because they have limited financial resources, especially in the investment in the information technology. But now, with the cloud services, they can allow small organizations to compete better with larger rivals. Say, for example, the accountancy packages. In the past, they need to invest a lot of money in the accountancy packages and put a server in the office. But now, because of the cloud computing, they can enjoy a very good accountancy packages in the cloud computing services just to pay a small amount of money for that. The sixth benefit is easier scaling. Cloud services provide high levels of flexibility in terms of size, number of authorized users, etc. And that means the service can grow as the business grows and allows businesses to scale up much more easily. The cloud computing service providers give you a service pack. Say what is the storage for you? If say you have 10 gigabytes per month storage, then you pay for this price. If you would like to increase to 100,000 or to 10,000 gigabytes, for example, the storage, you can just pay for it. And it's easy for you to scale because you no need to invest huge amount of money in the server or storage facilities. And another benefit of cloud computing is reduced maintenance. There's no longer need on the part of the organization for regular maintenance and updates of IT services. The cloud provider will take care of it. As I mentioned, the server, the storage capacity are maintained by the cloud service provider. It's not from you. And backups is another advantage or benefits of cloud computing because it can be used to back up data, and this adds an extra layer of security and removes the list of physical devices to store backup data. So it helps the organization to back up their information or their data. Another benefit of cloud computing is disaster recovery. This means that it can also aid disaster recovery by using cloud technology and make it faster and cheaper. The 10th benefit of cloud computing is better security. The cloud can increase security of data. For example, in the past, an employee will lose a laptop with sensitive data on it. This would be a high-risk security event for the organization. And keeping data stored in the cloud should reduce such risk associated with hardware. So you can see there are so many benefits. Here right now we have 10 benefits of cloud computing to the organization. Is it no disadvantages of cloud computing? No. There are some disadvantages of cloud computing. Say, for example, you need to sign a contract with the cloud service provider, and you have to share the data in the say, for example, in the cloud, and you don't know whether sometimes it's secure, but Also, you also have you also authorize the cloud service company to access your data as well. So let's move on to another topic in this chapter, the impact of advances in technology, which is AI, the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, and what is artificial intelligence or AI? AI is an area of computer science that emphasizes the creation of intelligent machines that work and react like human beings. So the advances in AI have been achieved by applying machine learning to a very large data sets. So let's share with you some of the examples later. But right now we move on to talk about what is machine learning, because it is highly related to the artificial intelligence. Machine learning is a branch of AI that its algorithms detect patterns and learn how to make predictions and recommendations by processing data and experience. So in other words, machine learning, the algorithms of machine learning can detect patterns and learn how to make predictions and recommendations based on the input like the data, experiences, rather than just the programming instructions. So for example, just give you an example here. For machine learning, if it is properly used, machine learning, it can save a lot of programming works. For example, like if you understand what is programming, the computer programming, it is different line of instructions written on the program to ask the computer to follow and instruct and execute. So here, like maybe 500,000 lines of instructions you provide to the computer to ask it to learn to follow your instructions, but you no need to do it by providing 500,000 lines of instructions right now, because when you use the machine learning, it just checks the historical data and processing those data to make the predictions and recommendations. So no more programming lines are needed by providing the instructions to the computer to follow and execute. So it's the advantage of machine learning. So there are some examples or activities here that computers with artificial intelligence are designed for improve. Say, for example, like voice recognition, planning, learning, and problem solving. For one example here, like voice recognition, examples like the Apple, one of the mobile phone company in the world, it developed a voice recognition system called Siri, S-I-R-I, the Siri system. And it can detect your voice and translate and convert the voice into the words. And the rationale behind, or the mechanics behind, is about the artificial intelligence, because it's already built in the AI in the mobile phones, so it can recognize the voice and convert the text message or the text in the mobile phone or in the computer. And AI brings many opportunities for accountants to improve their efficiency and deliver more value to businesses. So it helps to improve the efficiency as well as to the value of businesses from AI. And in the long term, AI brings opportunities for more extensive developments as systems increasingly carry out decision-making tasks that would otherwise be carried out by humans. So let's share some examples of AI for accounting. Say, to cook accounting entries, and the AI can help to recognize what constitutes normal activities in order to improve fraud detection. To forecast revenues with the use of predictive models, and to improve access to and analysis of unstructured data such as contracts, emails, and multimedia content. So here are some examples, or real-life examples already right now, like to cook the accounting entries. You just input the numbers and the descriptions into the accountancy package. If it is built in with AI, then it can help and it will suggest the code of accounting entries, say whether should be in the cost of sales accounts or whether it is in the bank accounts. So once you input the number, the descriptions, it can recognize it should be grouped under which account. So it helps to cook the accounting entries. And in a more broad view, the AI in the accountancy package can recognize any abnormal activities. So it can help to alert the senior management, is there any abnormalities to prevent any fraud. And also the AI built in the predictive model. So when you input the revenues, the sales revenue into the accountancy packages, like on a daily basis, it can predict what is the revenue to be seen, say, in the following days. And in the past, contracts, emails, multimedia cannot be analyzed. Right now, with the help of AI, those unstructured data like the contract, emails, and multimedia can be analyzed through the AI platform. So now let's have some questions to test whether you have a full understanding of this class. The first question is, which of the following is not an advantage that databases have over spreadsheets? So remember, we discussed about the advantages of these databases and spreadsheets. So for here, we found not an advantage that databases have over spreadsheets. So see whether A, less training required, B, better security, C, less duplication of information, or D, greater ease of sharing information. We discussed before, so you should check it out and answer this question. And next question is about disadvantages of cloud computing. We discussed about the benefits before. So right now you have to choose, or you have to think, what are the disadvantages of cloud computing? Whether it is scalability a disadvantage, or contract management a disadvantage, reliance on third parties is a disadvantage, potential job losses is a disadvantage, or reduced flexibility for employees a disadvantage. So 3 of them are disadvantages. So you can highlight the disadvantages by after this class, because we just share with you what are the benefits, and also we mention about what are the disadvantages of cloud computing. So here is another question. What is artificial intelligence? So it's about a definition. We mentioned about the definition of artificial intelligence is an area of computer science that emphasizes the creation of intelligent machines that work and react like human beings. So I think we mentioned about the definition of artificial intelligence that can help you to answer this question.